We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use the box at sign up for 10 points. And here we go.
And welcome everybody to another edition here of Unsportsmanlike Conduct here on the Sports Box. I am Paul Macrie alongside Big V, Mike Velardi, here on this mid-November evening. What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
Well, lady, what's up? Glad to have you back again this week.
Yeah. I'm glad to be back as well. You guys did a good job last week with Jack Fritz. He was really good. I was a little bit under the weather last week, so I couldn't do the show. But you and Tar did a good job. And Jack brought a lot to the table, talking about the Eagles and Phillies primarily on that show last week. So that was good to have him along board, and hopefully we can have him on again at some point because he knows a lot of stuff.
It was good. It was a good time.
It was great. So tonight we'll go back to our normal format without a guest, talking about the world of sports right now, particularly football is still the main crust of it all here with the NFL already week 10. I mean, it's insane that we're now more than halfway through the regular season in the NFL. College football continues to go through its season. We're going to have extensions, it looks like, as far as trying to get every game in. Coronavirus has hit some of these conferences hard, SEC particularly this past week, a couple of Pac-12 schools. So, I mean, they're doing everything they can in the midst of everything. It looks like spiking up throughout the country again with coronavirus cases, but everything just trying to get everything in and at the same time trying to, maintain players' health and safety, of course. So it's always a delicate balance for sure. So we'll get right into the NFL. Obviously, since the Green Room is not going to be on this Wednesday, I think we can start off with the Eagles because this week is our special NBA draft show live at 7:30 on Wednesday night. So the boys are the host of guys are going to be on that show on Wednesday night. So look forward to that. But we'll start with the Eagles, obviously. Coming off that bye week, just a flat and embarrassing performance. I mean, there's really nothing else to say against the Giants team, quite frankly. You see how much better they've gotten over the last month and a half. I mean, this is a team that, yes, 3-7 now, won 2 in a row, but they could have easily beat the Buccaneers a couple of Monday nights ago. And could have beat the Eagles the first time around when they were up 21-10 in the fourth quarter. So you're talking about two different teams going in different directions at this point, right? I mean, the head coach, Doug Peterson, going this way, and you got Joe Judge, the rookie head coach for the Giants.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got his team playing hard for him and heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of the game. I was out. I was actually at work. But
were you at the golf course yesterday?
Yeah. The Masters took precedence in the
Yeah,
Pro
of
Tour.
course. Right. I forgot.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of going back and forth. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I really missed much. Didn't
You did not. You
yeah. So from what I heard. So
yeah.
I'm going to leave this up to you as far as the
Okay.
analysis on this game. But it didn't seem like, from what I heard a little bit on talk radio this morning, it didn't seem like people were too happy with a couple the 0 for 9 on third down conversions.
Yeah, awful that they can go 0 for 9. I mean, the Giants aren't a juggernaut defense by any means. They're improved on defense, it looks like, over the last month and a half. But the fact that on third down they were 0 for 9. I mean, that's a combination of obviously the play calling that continues to be suspect, and Wentz's play, which is continuing to be inconsistent. Miracle that he did not commit a turnover. The Eagles actually didn't commit a turnover yesterday. However, I mean, it's still the mental mistakes. He was victimized by some drop passes yesterday too, which hasn't been a problem actually with this team lately. Yesterday, Fulgham had a rare bad drop for him. Greg Ward, I think, had a bad drop yesterday too. Miles Sanders seems to always have a drop as well. They were running the football fine when they actually ran the football. Miles Sanders in his return, 15 carries for 85 yards. Boston Scott had the big 56-yard run for a touchdown in the third quarter. But, I mean, right off the bat, they get the first two possessions of the Giants, they go basically down the field and scored 2 touchdowns. Before you know it, the Eagles kicked the field goal on their first possession, which actually could have been a touchdown, but they're down 14-3 right off the bat. What else is new? This team always seems to just fall behind. Even in the Dallas game, they were behind in the first half. I mean, they could never get off to a fast start. It just has been the same thing.
How does a quarterback go down the seam pretty much untouched? I mean, how does that happen?
Well, it's a good point. I forgot all about the Daniel Jones touchdown run. This is the second time that they got confused by basically an option-type keeper play, and this time he stayed on his feet and didn't trip and scored the touchdown. I mean, he led the team in rushing yesterday with 64 yards to Daniel Jones. They gave up 151 yards of rushing yesterday. Even Wayne Gallman, 2 touchdowns at 53 yards. Yeah, I mean, it's a product of a little bit to do it on discipline as far as the ends. You got to maintain your the edge right there and not lose, contain on that side. But also I think the linebackers are just not good enough. When you can't stop the run like that, and the Eagles haven't been that good against the run this year, and years past they have been, that hasn't been their issue. It has to come down to linebacker play at this point from that side of things. But, yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones, he once again looked like the better quarterback yesterday, I would say, for the large part of the game. I mean, he didn't make a huge play in this game as far as like throwing the football, but I mean, he took what the Eagles gave him and spread the ball around those receivers. I mean, Slayton had 93 yards, Shepard had 47, Golden Tate had 44, and had a big catch in the game. So, I mean, they just spread the ball around, and it just was all around. They just were the better team simply yesterday, and that's really all you can say. And the Eagles continue to be inconsistent, now 3-5-1 on the season. And in a game yesterday, if they would have won, I think they would have seized real control of this division, and you would at least felt, even with the difficult part of the schedule coming up here, that they had a little more wiggle room, as far as some air and still be in good shape to win this poorest division. But I mean, at this point, I think all bets are off. The Giants feel like they have a chance, even at 3-7.
Right.
It's unbelievable to even say that. And I mean, Washington yesterday actually came back from down 24-3 against Detroit.
Yeah.
Tied the game, ended up losing on a Prater hit a long field goal to end the game.
Yeah, 59-yarder.
But so I mean, Washington looks like they're actually playing decent too right now. So
before we get off the topic, the burning question, I guess, where do the Eagles go from this? I mean, we're sitting here as Eagles fans, I guess, and wait, what's this? Hold on, I gotta put this up here.
Yeah.
I used to sit right next to you and your dad for over 15 years at the link. I have up when I honestly think I do remember him, actually. So Rob, so if I can remember, so you used to sit to my right. So were you were next to my dad, on my dad's right, if I can remember?
That's cool. Yeah. So
yeah,
where are the Eagles going from here?
Listen, we know the burning question is, Doug on borrowed time.
Okay.
Is who does this come down on? Is it Howie? Is it Carson? What's happening?
Yeah, so it's everybody's really shares the blame in all this, but I think we're getting to the point now where I don't know if this team can survive too much longer as far as this coach and quarterback combination. I think right now they're going to have to decide which one goes, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe. Just a little less than 3 years ago, they won the Super Bowl, and now we're getting to this point where we're questioning whether or not the head coach is. How long is that leash? Is it getting shorter and shorter? We really don't know right now. I think it's tough to say. I feel like Laurie would have still allegiance with Doug Peterson, obviously for what he did. I mean, the Giants did it with Tom Coughlin. Coughlin had a lot of leash after winning that Super Bowl, that second Super Bowl in 2011, 2012. And then the last 3 years before he ended up being let go, they were just awful. And it took, finally, I think he got fired in 2015. It didn't end real well for a guy that won 2 Super Bowls. Right. It ended up being one of the better. Him and Parcells probably go down as the 2 best head coaches in Giants history. It didn't. Now, and so it almost reminds me kind of something like that might be happening now here with Peterson, that he finds himself with a little bit shorter leash. But, I mean, it's going to have to take a collapse, like they almost like lose the rest of their games, which I guess is not out of the realm of possibility that they can lose out here and go 3-12-1. I don't think it's likely. Right. I still think they're going to win a couple games here. But, I mean, we're getting to the point right now where, it's getting a little more difficult to see this future, at least for the next several years, of Peterson and Wentz together. So I know Brian Attard commenting, and I'm looking right now, it's cheaper to, see Carson with a new coach than, see Doug with a new QB, and the GM just, can't draft. I mean, obviously, we know the GM can't, the GM has had a lot of issues drafting. And I understand that from the perspective of you're paying Wentz a lot more than the head coach, but
I think it may be the other way around. I think Doug may want Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. Did you ever think about that? And he's not allowed to pull the trigger.
Well, we're still trying to figure out, because that's obviously another good point that you bring Hurts into this equation. Why did they draft him? So we're trying to figure out why they did, because so far they've used him in these predictable gimmick packages, and there's been no change in that. And the teams right now are just basically at this point know when Hurts comes in the game and Wentz is lined up as a receiver that, okay, Hurts is going to either keep the ball or he's going to give it to Sanders, whoever's in the backfield. I think he's thrown the ball once. And since he's, obviously he's been on the active roster and they've gotten into this scenario that they want to run these gimmick plays. So I really don't know. I mean, I'm assuming if Doug gets to the point where he's going to get in desperate mode and they end up benching Wentz, then yeah, we're going to see Hurts and see what he has. But to me, I think right now I don't think Hurts I get the sense Hurts isn't showing enough in practice for them to really believe that he can handle the full grasp of this offense. Because if they believed in that, I think Hurts would have came into one of these games at some point, the way Wentz has been playing. And I think Hurts would have been throwing the ball, maybe at least shown the ability of, okay, I'm going to throw either a quick screen. I mean, what's wrong with doing something like that, or running, an inside, throwing an inside slant or something like simple. I'm not saying he has to throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
But, something to mix it up from what he's doing.
Yeah, I kind of get that too, but I don't know. I'm not feeling that right now. I don't know. I feel kind of different about that, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just feel like it's coming from the top. Hey, we're paying this guy so much money.
Right.
We can't pull the trigger yet. It'll make so much dissension. He'll never be able to get the starting job back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think we're close. I still don't think we're close to Wentz getting benched. I don't think.
All right.
I mean, they play Cleveland this week in Cleveland. Cleveland is a weak 6-6 team, to be honest with you. I don't think that's a strong 6-3 team.
They are in trouble with this schedule coming up.
Oh, for sure.
That's
why yesterday's game was important. But
they may not win a game in the next 5 games. It's very realistic.
To be honest with you, at this point, do you even care? I'd rather them not even win this division.
I don't care.
Right.
I don't. I'm saying they may not win a game, and you may see Hurts come in. You may see what he has.
Because I really think the only way this thing gets really fully changed, is if they don't make the playoffs. Because the reason why things have kind of stayed status quo, other than there was a couple more assistant coaches that came into play this year for Doug, but I don't think that's worked at all, is because of, they won 4 straight from 5-7 to make the playoffs and win the division last year. The year before they made that run after, I think they were 6-7 and they won the last 3 games with Foles under center 2 years ago. If you didn't have those type of 3 or 4 game stretches the last 2 years, these changes might have been made already, but they made the playoffs then. So I guess they felt like, I guess, listen, the team never really quits on Doug. I never feel like they quit on him. I just think it's yesterday, the penalties, they committed. I don't know if it ended up being 8-9 penalties in the game, but way too many penalties yesterday. Just a team that came out of the bye week. What did they work on for those couple of days during their bye week? It just nothing seemed to change. Nothing was different. And now Doug is 1-4 after the bye week in his career, when Andy was tremendous off the bye week, if you recall. So,
oh yeah,
it's a different dynamic.
I saw that stat too.
So it's not getting any better right now for the Eagles, and now they got Cleveland this week. They could beat Cleveland. I mean, as I said, Cleveland is not a good 6-3 football team. They won 10-7 yesterday. I think there was like 50-mile-an-hour winds in Cleveland yesterday, but they won that game 10-7 against the Houston team that is now 2-7 on the season. So I mean, they're barely just hanging on right now and don't have a huge identity. And Baker Mayfield's not playing that well. Now, I don't know if it's because Odell Beckham is out for the year. I'm not sure what's going on there. But they're not playing that well. But I mean, we'll see what happens from here on out. But it starts with Cleveland, and that schedule doesn't get any easier from here on out. Seattle, right the following week. Seattle on Monday night. So,
it's not good. I mean, I think they were combined like 32-17 the teams that they're facing in the latter half of the year.
So that's
it's a harder schedule in the NFL in the latter half.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we'll go quickly throughout some of the other games throughout the league yesterday. The Thursday night game, Colts beat the Titans 34-17, and that was a big game in the AFC South between two teams that are pretty much the teams fighting for that division, because the Texans and Jaguars are not. So right now it's down to, the Colts at 6-3 now after that win, Titans 6-3. Titans hit a little bit of a skid here. I think they've lost 2 out of 3 now after their 5-0 start. So they or 3 out of 4, I think they've lost now. So they're heading a little bit in the wrong direction at the moment. So they got to get things back on track. as I said, Cleveland won yesterday 10-7, but they're 6-3. I think they have one of the wild card spots right now in the AFC. But obviously, they got to play a little bit better. They've haven't been good offensively lately. They've hit a little bit of a rut offensively, so they got to figure that out. And maybe the Eagles will be a good recipe for them to get back on track this week. So who knows there?
Yep.
We talked about the Lions-Washington game, that the Washington was down 24-3, came all the way back to tie it, and then Matt Prater hit a mammoth 59-yard field goal. You said?
Yeah, 59
to win it 30-27. So the Lions are now 4-5. I mean, I still don't think they're a playoff team by any means. But, I mean, I guess they avoided a big collapse, up 3 touchdowns yesterday. DeAndre Swift, the rookie, looks pretty good. The kid out of Georgia.
He does look good.
What do you have, 81 yards rushing, and I think he had 50 or 60 yards receiving yesterday. So he had a big game. Packers barely beat the Jaguars 24-20.
Yeah, they were in trouble for most of that game.
Yeah. And, Rodgers bailed him out. It looked like, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know Valdez-Scantling had a long touchdown catch, 149 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, I think, had another touchdown yesterday. So the Packers are now 7-2. They're still comfortably ahead in that division with the Bears fading in that division. But not playing maybe the sharpest of football, but they have a little more room for error to figure it out in the division right now that's allowing them to, have that room for error. Buccaneers bounced back big time. They were, obviously after the embarrassing game against the Saints the week before, losing 31-0.
Yeah.
Or 38-3. What was it, 38-3 final?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they kicked the field goal. But 46 points yesterday for Tampa. Brady had a big 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ronald Jones, he had the 98-yard touchdown run and had 192 yards and a touchdown in that game. I know Antonio Brown finally got going a little bit, 7 catches, 69 yards. Evans had a touchdown catch. Godwin, I think, had 92 yards receiving. So they spread the ball around pretty good. So I think with Tampa, with those weapons they got now, as long if Brown stays out of trouble, not that I think they need Brown by any means. I think that's just like a bonus that they have him. But if Brady can get all those weapons, firing all cylinders, and these guys are healthy, they're going to be tough on offense, I think, moving forward here.
Not that we're switching gears, but you haven't been on in 2 weeks, and long-time listener, first-time caller, Brian Attard wanted to. And myself, I do have this jersey over here over my left shoulder.
Uh-huh.
We can touch on number 2, Notre Dame.
Yeah,
taking out. It was a really good game.
It was a really good game.
Notre Dame beating Clemson.
It was a double overtime game. It was.
Listen, we
I
really
told
didn't
you.
talk.
I know. I'll go on record here to the Sports Box universe. Notre Dame deserved to win that game.
Almost gave it up.
Clemson, Clemson had the nice run, came back. Were they down 23-10? I think it was at one point, or whatever.
After halftime, you mailed it in before halftime and said this game's over. You did.
I did.
You did. And I said I thought it was too. I was like they're playing really well.
Yeah.
Then I got scared after halftime. Once Clemson scored right after the half, I said, "Oh boy, here we go."
Yeah.
And then I mailed it in right before overtime, and said, this is where the cream rises to the top." And I said, "They're done."
ETN scores a touchdown with 3.5, 4 minutes left in the game to take the lead. And then Notre Dame had they had a 90-yard drive.
Here's my concern. What was that play calling in the last series? What was that for Clemson? What were they doing? What kind of play calling was that? And I told you
it wasn't.
Thing.
Well, number one, ETN's not playing that well right now. They're not running the football that well, Clemson, compared to years
They were
past.
throwing balls to the side, throwing balls up in the. I didn't even know what he was calling.
Notre Dame's defensive line whipped up on Clemson's offensive line.
They're big boys. Big boys.
Yeah, And that's why I'm concerned.
And they're fast.
Because I really don't put this on Guguleele, DJ Guguleele. I honestly do not put it on him because I thought he played pretty well. Then you think? I don't think this was, because Trevor Lawrence didn't play. Like, if you really watched the game, you saw that Clemson's defense is a concern, and Clemson's, lack of being able to effectively run the football to help out the kid so he doesn't have to throw the ball 50 times in a game. That ended up being a big problem. And the Clemson's offensive line's a little experienced this year. They were replacing 4 of their 5 starters from the year before. So coming in, we knew that was going to be, some time that they had to develop those guys. I don't know if a lack of preseason, because of coronavirus didn't help these guys. But certainly Notre Dame facing their first big-time defensive line.
Yeah.
It showed that it was a huge problem in the game. And, from the line standpoint, Notre Dame is the better team right now. And when they do play again in the ACC title game in December, Lawrence is going to have to play like a phenomenal game, I think, to beat Notre Dame.
Well, that was the next question. The next question would have been, would Trevor Lawrence have won that game for them? So what's your thought on that?
I don't know, because
Ugalele played pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the kid had, they scored 40 points.
Right, and he had
the game.
Yards.
I really right now put this squarely on. They had some injuries in defense in the game. Their middle linebacker's been hurt, Skalski. I think one of their starting corners did not play. So they're a little bit banged up defensively. I think 3 or 4 guys, at least contributing guys, on defense did not play in that game. So I think healthy on defense, I think they'll match up better against Notre Dame's offensive line. I'm more concerned about Clemson's offensive line, which was healthy in the game, going up against Notre Dame's defensive line still. That's my concern going into what would be inevitably the next would be the rematch ACC title game, assuming Clemson does not have another hiccup here moving forward. Florida State starting this week after the bye week. And after, I think they got Virginia Tech, I think it's a couple weeks from now. Notre Dame plays North Carolina, but even if Notre Dame loses that game, Notre Dame still has the edge in the ACC Coastal Division because North Carolina has 2 losses.
Yep.
So that gives them a little wiggle room. But, of course, Notre Dame's going to think they can't lose a game in order to be in this national title picture. But I also think Notre Dame has a loss to spare, to be honest with you. Not that you want to think that way. Of course, you want to stay undefeated. They have won 14 in a row, which right now is the longest winning streak in college football right now, believe it or not. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Notre Dame deserved the game. Clemson didn't play well enough, but fortunately, I think we talked about it the week going into that game. We believe that it wasn't a play-in game like we're used to seeing in the ACC. Like this year with, the Big Ten being down, really right now, what is it, Ohio State and Indiana are your top teams in the Big Ten. So what's that telling you about where the Big Ten's at? The Pac-12 just started. Oregon's good, like the only team that has a chance in the Pac-12.
Yeah, everybody Cal lost. Everybody, all these teams are losing or getting blown out now.
Georgia lost 2 games now. So
what's Hobbs say about that?
Oh, he doesn't care. All of a sudden, he's not a Georgia fan. Like I don't get it. I don't get it with him, but that's fine. If he doesn't care and he wants to take the easy way out that he doesn't care, then that's all good.
A lot of people telling me congrats because everybody was shitting on him a couple weeks ago. Clemson going to kill him. I can't believe it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. So let's get to John Suggs' comment here about Anthony Lynn, because Anthony Lynn, not that I thought the Chargers were a definite playoff team, but I thought that they had a decent team to possibly get to the playoffs. Justin Herbert is I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Do I think he's going to be an elite quarterback? No.
I don't know. He's showing a good quarterback. I don't know. He's showing signs of it so far. I know he didn't play great yesterday. He didn't play good.
He's going to be a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to be elite. I don't think he's going to be
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to. Yeah, he's not going to be top 5, but I think he certainly could be a top 10 quarterback in this league in a couple years. Yeah,
he's going to be good. He's going to be good. So
yeah, but it's a good point about Anthony Lynn. I mean, this team's
got
Mike
Williams to throw to. He's got Keenan Allen to throw to.
Right.
He's got guys on offense. So
Hunter Henry's is a pretty good tight end.
Yeah.
I think right now it's defensively they're not that great by any means. I mean, really the only injury on offense is Austin Eckler, but I mean, I don't think they've been hurting because Eckler's been out. I mean, what's it, Keelan Malaj or whatever has been in there lately and has actually played pretty good.
Boy.
And but yeah, I mean, they've lost a couple close games. That game against Vegas last week was a tough loss where they had a touchdown overturned in the end zone with no time left and ended up losing that game. Yesterday, Miami just simply was the better team, and they look really good, 6-3.
Wow.
You know, Tua is looking
tank for Tua,
pretty solid now, and now they got Houston's number 1 pick. That looks like it's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So it's incredible what Miami is things are looking up, and Brian Flores in his second year already has his team potentially making the playoffs, and that's fine if they make the playoffs because they have Houston's first round pick. So it's actually going to be best of both worlds. Get playoff experience and still get a high draft pick. So that's looking really good for them.
Yep.
Right now.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And if I'm looking at Miami's receivers, they don't have a very good receiver or like a huge playmaker by any means. They're just defensively, they're playing pretty well, which seems to be the identity of Brian Flores coming from New England and being a defensive coach. So I think they're starting very good special teams and defense right now. But Tua I guess he just knows how to win. I think some of that winning habits from Alabama is starting to already rub off in the pros.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but John Suggs even brought it up. Drew Brees has a fractured ribs and a collapsed lung. So, I'm assuming that's going to put him out a while.
Well, that's the interesting thing about that. I mean, they actually said that they haven't considered putting him on IR yet, which would mean 3 games you would miss automatically. I would think he's going to miss a couple games here. I mean, that just doesn't sound like something that you're just going to – and he sat out the whole second half in yesterday's game and basically was just slouching like this the entire time. And almost like he didn't even take his helmet off or move at all.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell was going on there. I mean, he seemed to be pretty down, obviously, and knowing that something wasn't right. But because apparently he already had 1 cracked rib coming into the game that he was playing through.
Right.
But now this has obviously made it even worse. So Jameis Winston's going to take over at quarterback, it looks like, with, obviously the Taysom Hill experience too mixed in. But, I mean, Winston only threw the ball 10 times yesterday for 63 yards.
Yeah,
I guess they figured since they were playing San Fran, and San Fran doesn't look like they're any type of threat to any team right now with that quarterback in that situation.
I just can't watch him. He is one of the most unappealing quarterbacks to watch.
I think they were scared that if he throws the ball more, he's going to throw a pick.
It's a possibility.
So they managed him, I guess, well yesterday.
Yeah,
and still found the way to win 27-13 against the Niners to improve to 7-2. But yeah, I mean, we'll wait to see what happens now with the Saints. Be holding their breath because I don't think I think without not that Drew Brees is obviously the same Drew Brees as we've been accustomed to in the past. He played pretty well last week against Tampa, but he's not the Drew Brees that's going to carry you and have this aerial assault. That's not their type of offense anymore. I mean, they like to run the football with Kamara and those running backs, even Latavius Murray at times. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But, obviously some concern now in New Orleans based off of today's news with Breeze happening.
Right.
Pittsburgh undefeated, still at 9-0 after their win yesterday against the Bengals, 36-10.
They're scoring points too. I don't know what Roethlisberger's taking, some young pill or what he's doing. Maybe
he got banged up.
Back. taking some young women out back again. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he didn't play that well last week against Dallas. I mean, don't forget they did not play well against Dallas the week before. But
they're putting up 30 points a game though. He
got banged up a little bit. He had a knee injury last week. He was on the COVID list because of exposure with Vance McDonald this week. So he didn't practice this week. But I guess he didn't need that practice. Healed up a little bit, and he threw 4 touchdowns over 300 yards yesterday.
Chase Claypool.
Claypool looks good. What, he had 2 touchdowns yesterday? The rookie receiver. And Deontay Johnson had a touchdown. I think Juju had a touchdown yesterday too. They're pretty balanced on offense. There's no question about it. And I think right now between them and Kansas City, they look like easily the 2 best teams in the AFC. And we'll see now down the line.
How about the Bills yesterday collapsing? I know I don't want to jump ship, but
yeah. I mean, that was the game of the day yesterday.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. How first of all, how dumb are the Texans for trading this guy? First of all, DeAndre Hopkins. How dumb are they?
Well, that's why Bill O'Brien doesn't have a job now.
They don't even get a first-round pick for the guy. What is happening?
That's why Bill.
I don't understand it.
That was the mistake of ownership to give Bill O'Brien the keys and basically have him be the GM the last 2 years.
What a disaster!
He destroyed the whole team. They have no draft capital at all now.
Unbelievable.
They're wasting Deshaun Watson's prime years, basically at this point with very little talent on. I mean, their offense is flawed. David Johnson, who they traded for, is hurt now. And David Johnson hasn't been good in a couple of years. 3 years?
Will Fuller, obviously, he didn't want to get traded, but he wanted to get traded, but
Green Bay was close.
There at all.
Green Bay was close to acquiring him, it looked like.
He wanted to be traded, but then Deshaun Watson didn't want him to be traded.
Yeah, and Brandon Cook's there, but I mean, other than that, they are
been good in 4 years.
They are a flawed football team for sure.
Bad.
And obviously Arizona trades for the great receiver DeAndre Hopkins, and their offenses look great. They're 6-3. Kyler Murray is in his second year, just becoming a elite star quarterback. Right now, he's got 10 rushing touchdowns this year, and obviously, you see what type of cannon he has of an arm.
Yeah.
Threw basically cross body, off balance, and threw the ball 50 yards into the end zone.
It was
for Hopkins.
He almost got sacked. He almost got sacked, and he got out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And he was literally. What I find interesting was it was almost a one-man route for a Hail Mary. That was the first thing, and he had 3 guys on him. 3. And you know what's funny? Not one of those guys tried to bat the ball away. They all went up for it to try to get the ball.
These guys never learn, do they? These defensive guys. Yeah. There's no time left on the clock. Yeah.
Slap the ball. Why are they all going up with 2 hands? Tell me. Do these guys are they not taught correctly?
I don't think so.
Listen. And all 2, 4, 6, 8. All 8 of their however many hands there were up in the air. What are they doing? They were all up there at the same time. It's unbelievable. Yep. Slap, punch, do whatever you got to do. Why are they trying to grab the ball? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't get it. You're right. You're absolutely right that these defensive players, I mean, I'm sure they were told, knock it down.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't recall if there was a timeout in between that. Sports box comment, knock it down. Yep. So that did not happen. It cost Buffalo the game. Josh Allen had a nice drive to lead them to the lead on that throw to Stephon Diggs and Buffalo. Listen, Buffalo
they're okay. I think Buffalo's going to be okay.
And Buffalo traded for a receiver also this past offseason, and that's working out really well too. Diggs is the missing piece of that offense. How about Cole Beasley's playing? How good he's playing this year.
Role receiver. It's a role receiver. That's what you need. Yeah, he's a slot number 2 receiver. That's what you need. A guy who's going to catch 8 to 10 balls a game.
And a speed
get
guy
out
and
of
John Brown,
Yep.
and a full package receiver in Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean you got two guys. You got a really good offense now, heading in the right direction. Their defense is still not where I would like it to be honest with you. Even with McDermott coaching that team, they do have some flaws on defense. I know it's tough to have a dominant defense in this day and age in the NFL, but I think that's holding them back just a little bit. They're 7-3. They still have control in this division, even with New England winning a couple games in a row.
Don't forget the Dolphins.
Good point. I forgot about
forget
that.
the Dolphins.
Have they played the Dolphins yet this year? I don't know.
Not sure.
I'm looking now. Yeah, they did.
They did.
They did week 2. They beat them 31-28. Close game in week 2.
Yeah.
And then they don't play them again until week 17, which could be for the division. Who knows? But I forgot they're only a half game back right now. The Dolphins
Might be.
Yeah. Bills got the Chargers this week. Should win that game, but obviously that's a game. 8-2 sounds a lot better than 7-3. Actually, the Bills have a bye week this week. Then they play the Chargers the following week. But obviously, 8-2 going on a bye week would have been ever so sweet compared to losing that game yesterday and being 7-3.
Yeah.
But New England won last night. They dominated Baltimore.
I think the elements had a lot to do with it, but
yeah. Well, Baltimore's offense. I mean, Lamar Jackson just doesn't look.
He's not running anymore. He's not doing what he usually does. I mean, Mark Ingram seems non-existent.
Yeah,
they're not doing what they usually do on offense.
Their offense is missing something this year. That's for sure, and that's costing them. Yeah. Right now, what are they now? 6-3 on the season, and right now the division looks like it's Pittsburgh's. It's Pittsburgh's to lose, and running away with it, and Baltimore looks like they're going to be at best now a wild card team and not a guarantee to make the playoffs because Cleveland has the same record as them. So there's a couple other teams obviously in the mix. Miami 6-3. So I mean that's not a guarantee that they make the playoffs. Like they got to be careful now, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean they're not playing the type of football that they need to play to be what last year looked like to be a Super Bowl contender, and then they lost that playoff game to Tennessee. They just haven't been the same since that loss in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, no.
Seems like that's when it kind of turned for the worse for them. Because even in the Eagles game, I didn't think they looked that great. They only won because the Eagles stink.
That's true.
That
is true.
And how about Seattle? The way they're playing right now,
Russell Wilson looks terrible.
All of a sudden, he's become a turnover machine lately.
Last 3 games, bad,
right?
Real bad.
And they've lost 2 in a row. They're 6-3. They got the Cardinals on Thursday night, big Thursday night game this week. Which right now there's a 3-way tie right now for the division with the Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals. But that's a big one this weekend, and the Seahawks are going to have to figure it out pretty quick because we already know they're not a real good defensive team, and that's the identity of that team is Russell Wilson and that offense. So they got to figure it out. And I think the only game we didn't touch on was the Raiders. They destroyed Denver 37-12 yesterday. They're 6-3 now in Vegas on the season.
Yeah,
another 6-3 team. I think there's like 4 6-3 teams right now in the AFC.
Yeah.
So that should be an interesting playoff race there. As far as those last wild card teams, because the Raiders are not winning that division with the Chiefs in there. They do play the Chiefs this weekend, Sunday Night Football game in Vegas. So that should be an interesting one. And Vegas did beat Kansas City early in the year.
Wow.
So you never know, but I would say right now the Chiefs are still the better team, but we'll see. And what do you think tonight, Minnesota and Chicago? That game starts in about a half hour. Minnesota's 3-point favorites in Chicago. No fans. No surprise.
Bears money line all day.
Okay. I mean, the Bears need the game a lot more. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row, so they got to stop the bleeding.
Stop Dalvin Cook. You win the game.
Should, because Kirk Cousins hasn't proved that he can carry this team.
Kirk Cousins stinks.
He does stink. I understand the spread to be where it is because the Vikings' recent play the last 2 weeks, and the Bears' recent play of the last 3 weeks.
You want me to give you 2 first touchdown scores?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to pick 1 per team because, you can't just take one guy, I'll give you Justin Jefferson for the Vikings, and I'll give you Jimmy Graham for the Bears.
Well, they're good long shots because Justin.
Come on.
I don't think Jefferson scored in a while. He was off to a nice hot start this year, but it's been the Dalvin Cook show, and they haven't needed much.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Jefferson,
you can't go with the favorite. You can't go with the favorite.
No, because the Cooks is probably like 3-1.
It's plus 250. It's not even worth it.
Wow, yeah, that is not worth it. Yeah.
So there you go. When one of those 2 scores, you could rewind this.
And thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
If anybody takes it, I'll take a percentage. Unlike what Atard did to me and picked the hockey guy to pick second, and everybody else had it but me.
I didn't have it either.
I know. Well, did he ask you?
I honestly, I think he mentioned it, but I didn't even. I was like, it's hockey. I'm not betting.
Speaking of that,
I'm not betting the NHL draft.
Speaking of that, he wants to know how sweet you think the new Rangers retro jersey is.
Well, is Adidas now hockey?
Yeah, it's the Adizero Adidas hockey jersey. Actually, the Flyers one's pretty sweet.
You like them? I actually took a peek at I don't like the Flyers jersey.
What?
I don't like it. Nah, I don't like it.
Come on, that's awesome.
And I certainly don't like the Rangers. So.
Well, I don't like that either. So.
Oh, you'll buy it.
He already has it pre-ordered. So.
We do have a picture that's going to last forever. You wearing a Rangers jersey that one night.
It's true, but I told you why I did it. They lost. I made them lose.
Was that the year they played the Flyers in the playoffs?
What's that?
That was the year they played the Flyers in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And you were living near Retard? Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned with NFL now all of a sudden going to go to week 11, and it starts with the Thursday night football game. At least it's a good one between the Cardinals and Seahawks.
We have a video clip of Justin Thomas this week at the Masters. You want to see it?
Justin Thomas, after his excellent approach shot, ran all the way toward the back of the green for birdie.
Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Well,
was that wasn't at the Masters?
No,
that was at the PGA Championship?
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
I love that clip.
There was a couple guys that cursed this week at the Masters.
You heard it?
I heard a couple F-bombs. But what are you going to do? There's no fans. So
I love it.
Everything's picked up.
It's fantastic.
But Dustin Johnson dominated that event. Are we having a golf show this week with Cartwright and Galetta?
They should be. Yeah, I think Cartwright picked. I think he said 2 or 3 of the majors correctly this year.
Oh, I did see you make an appearance this week on that show.
I did. I think I took JT. Listen, DJ just tore the field up. He tore the field up. I mean, 20 under at the Masters is ridiculous.
They got to do something about the course. There's not a lot of distance. It's not a distance course. Well, and all these guys can hit the ball 320 plus yards now. So
but listen, if you watch it though, Bryson and a lot of these guys, they got caught in the woods. There was second shots.
Bryson didn't hit the fairway, so that was his issue, right? But a guy like Dustin,
a lot of times when Rory got caught in the woods, he was able to get out. Bryson got caught left, right. He was all over the place. Listen, that's a problem. Listen, it doesn't matter how far you hit it. You got to be precise too. And he caught himself. So listen, DJ is just consistent, man. He could putt. He could do everything. So listen, he deserved it.
Oh, I agree. That really stakes his claim as well. Right now, he's the number 1 golfer in the world.
Dude, his last 10 events, he's been top 2 almost, and then once he finished in the 10th and 12th. Somebody's on.
Oh God.
What is this guy doing? What's he want? What's he want?
This is like a WWE entrance. Like he's coming in like on like in a
Wait a minute. So you can crash the golf show, but I can't crash your show just because I want to?
You don't know anything about golf.
I mean, no. I mean, my golf knowledge is entirely Happy Gilmore. I'm not going to lie about that.
But he's trying to make the point that you're not a regular on the golf show.
I mean, if I want to crash a show, I want to crash a show. I mean, I'm managing partner.
You are.
How can we help you, sir?
I how don't you like the Rangers reverse retro jersey? Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't look at that when I was just looking at the Flyers.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't like the Flyers. I don't like the Flyers.
30 of them listed on our site, though.
I listed them all. I listed them all.
I did.
Rangers one's good. Flyers one's only okay. It's not one of the worst ones. The Islanders.
Stop it. Worst.
It's not one of the worst ones.
I actually thought the Sharks one was good. I like that one.
The Colorado's is excellent.
Toronto's is good. I like that one.
Toronto's is okay. Montreal's fantastic. The Ducks is just great. They're going to sell a ton of those. Kings is good.
I thought I don't like the Capitals one. I think that sucks.
I didn't like that either.
It's like the old, nasty. The Devils one is horrible.
I don't like that green. That one. It's not green. That's not good.
It's the old.
Say hello. I just just pump up the network. We got a special guest on tomorrow night for our show.
Who's that?
We have Tom Arnone from A2D Radio coming on our show tomorrow.
Yeah. You did mention.
And then we're going to be doing some cross promotion with those guys.
And I haven't talked to him in a long time. I mean, it'd be good to see him. Good to have him. I guess from a cross promotional standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I do see you mentioned the teeing off 7 p.m. on Wednesday night to talk about the Masters and obviously kind of recap the golf season because pretty much it's over at this point until January, February.
Yeah.
And, the NBA draft show then at 7:30, right? On
8 o'clock. I think it's going to be 8 o'clock. I mean, I don't really know. Yeah. So John, that Dallas jersey is not their reverse retro. That's just the third jersey that they made. The Dallas reverse retro was that star looking thing they wore in '98 with the star shape on the jersey.
Who won the cup this year?
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh shit, I forgot.
You don't remember that?
That's how much I care about hockey.
Yeah, because they played the Dallas Stars in the Cup final.
Yeah.
So what's that tell you? So what's the NHL plan right now? Are they
January,
New Year's or no?
No, they keep saying January 1st, but it's open to interpretation. So
Are they contingent on they have to have at least some type of capacity at the games?
Listen, here's the thing. Hockey is the one sport that might squash the whole thing and skip the season. They've done it before. And to be honest with you, I don't know how that works for like the draft. That would be very interesting. So
you think there's a chance they don't have a season at all?
I would assign it a good 10% chance, yeah.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Because they have to make again, they rely on the gate. Again, baseball and hockey rely on the gate more than basketball and way more than football. Football can never have fans again and be wildly profitable.
Right, because of TV. And basketball's got a strong TV contract.
Absolutely.
But hockey and baseball are too regionalized to
And baseball too, they need the volume of games. You don't feel stable.
I don't know how, and that's why the Phillies owner's crying poor about 60 games and no fans this year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The Phillies owner is an a-hole.
Jack Fritz was phenomenal last week.
Yes, I was mentioning that. I did watch it, and I thought he did a really good job last week.
I just like that he was agreeing with like 80% of things that I say, and
that's probably why you liked it then. Yeah,
I appreciated it.
See, there are actually some smart Philly people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, listen, and most of them are on this network. I mean, there's one who thinks that Jalen Hurts is going to play like tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, now we have those discussions, but I don't really think that that's going to happen. What are we talking about? I just wanted to jump on UC. I don't think I did.
We were pretty much wrapping things up.
It's $7.54. You're paid by the hour.
Yeah.
Funny.
Paid a lot too. I'm paid as much as Carson Wentz is.
But the point, I mean, I don't know. There's the big Thursday night game, Arizona Seattle. I mean, that's one of them. Eagles play the Browns. That game sucks.
Yep.
And the Sunday night game's actually pretty decent. Chiefs and Raiders. Rams and Buccaneers are next Monday night. So it's pretty much your big games coming up.
Do you, the two of you, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow night. I know Tom's got a lot of takes on this, but do you see a scenario where legitimately they move on from Carson Wentz, who they traded up in the draft to go get and showered with a 9-figure deal, that the people responsible for that, the GM and the coach, are around to see the next guy? Because I don't see it. I think Jeffrey Lurie would be a complete idiot. Like, the people that are responsible for whatever's going to happen here, they can't be here to see the next part, no matter what it is. And I'm not convinced that they're the problem. I think Carson can be fine. I think there's a lot going on with the team, but whatever. I don't know. I think the coaches. I don't think Pearson's good.
But it seems like what's the offense that really Wentz can succeed in? An offense where he can roll out of the pocket and basically not rely on him to be in the pocket at all, and have him run more, I think would help a little bit.
They say they wanted to play within a structure. Well, they saw the structure against the Giants, and the structure sucks.
It does.
So maybe go back to the play calling you had in 2018. 2017.
I don't know. It's
It's an old look. What was the stat? I had the stat on the Sunday show. I got to find the stat now because the stat will make you really be upset. Hold on. I have it right here somewhere. Where is my stupid stat? I think I might have lost the stat. Anyway, the stat was, I think that the Eagles, they had 5 different guys start their first ever game in the NFL. Offensive line, and that's a record. 5 guys have started for the first time, and that was a record. So,
well, what's their excuse now? I mean, they're getting actually semi-healthy now. There's teams that have more injuries than the Eagles at this point.
Here's a stat: the Eagles have had 5 different offensive linemen make their NFL debut this season, tied for the most in the first 8 games of a year since 1991.
I mean, the offensive line didn't play good yesterday, but
I just don't know what you expect. I don't know what you expect when you surround this guy with this kind of nonsense.
Well,
that's all.
Yeah,
he is not their problem.
I think we can agree that the quarterback head coach combination is not working, and that something is going to have to change sooner rather than later.
No, that's
whether it's Doug or whether it is Wentz. I don't know which one it's going to be, but
you can fire Doug and not have all this dead cap.
Yeah, because the Morello seems to think that dead cap's just going to be that's okay. Like, we'll deal with the dead cap. No, that's actually an issue.
Dead cap, Paul, in a year where the cap's going down.
Yeah, that's not a good combination. Yeah.
It is not.
So,
Michael?
What?
Any thoughts on
that? I mean, you know my thoughts.
Stinks.
I mean, I don't really have any thoughts. I mean, I think that they're going to get. They can't really get rid of the quarterback. They can't trade him. That's definitely number one. And I think they're going to get rid of the coach before they get rid of the quarterback.
How about you get rid of the GM? What has the GM done ever?
Well, that's Jeffrey's boy, dude.
Nothing.
Great.
But I think that they will get rid of him because they already demoted him once. So
well,
the GM have a problem getting rid of him.
Well, if you get rid of the GM, that means yes, he's going to want his own head coach. So that will connect in itself.
Right.
So that would not be a problem there if that's what you think would be the solution. Is obviously get rid of Howie, his head coach, the head coach, then the new head coach gives once a year, and if it's still not working out, then yes, then it's over. But then give him that year, and if he wants to then draft his own quarterback, then you go ahead.
I think anybody who takes the Eagles' job, if it were to open, coming in says, "Listen, we're going to give you Wentz for a year, and then you make the call after the season." Because guys want to go up. Guys want to go. They want their guy. They're going to sink the ship. They want their guy at the helm. They want their guy. I always go back to Greg Schiano in Tampa Bay. They had LeGarrette Blunder, who was just fine. They went and got Doug Martin, who was his guy, and that's where they went.
Yeah,
because you live and die with your guys. So
they're going to die, all right.
But I just think I just think it's funny that some people, and we have the poll up and outside the box in regards to what you call someone who, no matter what their team is doing, good, bad, or indifferent, that they're going to win every week and they're great. And then when other people bring up valid criticisms, well, they're just wrong.
I mean, they're cheerleader. I mean, listen, they stink. They're not a good team.
No,
and somebody needs to bear that cross. I mean, they suck. So it's either the quarterback, it's either the coach, it's either Jim Schwartz needs to go. I mean, someone needs to take it. So, I mean, somebody needs to lose their job.
But again, to me, the easy thing to do is clear the front office out. You can't fire the players. You can fire the coach and move right on. Clean break.
Yeah. Oh, so everybody needs to go. So just start over.
I personally, I don't
Super Bowl is long gone. So
I don't like the Eagles. I visibly hate them, and I don't hide that. But from an objective standpoint, it would be the epitome of nonsense to move on from a quarterback you've this much invested into, only to find out that the two people you're going to leave in charge, the guy who does the drafting, the guy who does the coaching, can't do it either. Do the cheap fix first. Rip the Band-Aid off, get new leadership in there, and then see what you have. That's all. And maybe when like your people are healthy around, then you're not blowing second-round picks on, I think, a Whiteside who was inactive, while Metcalf had a big day, Deontay Johnson had a big day. All these guys that were taken after him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, how doesn't Howie lose his job on that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not use your job on that pick, on the Dillard pick, which is becoming a disaster, a total disaster, because that was a pick that they had planned to replace Peters. Like that was their thing. Like, oh, this is the next generation.
And then they still have Peters.
You still have him. And he's 100 years old. Like who was the last guy, guys? No, seriously.
And they gave him more money.
That they drafted. You're like, wow, that was a great pick. Seriously.
Miles Sanders, maybe.
He was second back taken that year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
maybe.
That's not a great. I wouldn't put that in the great pick category. Like he's good, but once again, as Tart says, he's a running back, so it's like, you know.
Well, then I'll probably end up going with Zach Ertz, probably. Yeah,
I'm gonna look.
And we're going back 6 years?
2013, that was that pick.
Well, you're going back 7 years then.
Yeah.
Let's play the game. Hold on.
I mean, I'm talking stud.
Here.
I'm going stud. You wanted to talk stud? I mean, he's digressing this year, but he got hurt.
Trying to zoom in. That's my.
Tell that kid to stop.
He doesn't want to go to sleep.
Let's go at his house.
Oh, come on.
You crashed the UC show, and now I'm 10
No,
minutes.
I'm trying to put the draft picks up, but the stupid Google ads in the way.
Well, you have an Apple computer.
That's not the problem.
Mac.
Send feedback. Add covered content. Thanks. Anyway, so Rager, Hurts, Dave. I mean, this Dillard, Sanders, Whiteside, Sharif Miller. Thorson's already gone. Goddard, they don't even use. Right? I mean,
no.
Like the 17 draft was.
I don't even think there's anybody there from that draft.
The 17 draft's a complete loss all around.
I don't think anybody's still here from that draft.
The 17 draft?
Barnett.
Read them.
Barnett is.
No. Read the guys. I can't say it.
Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas, Mac Hollins, Donnell Pumphrey, Shelton Gibson.
They're all gone. I just
except Barnett. Yeah, one player.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
Every guy on that list is gone from 3 years ago.
And that was the great Joe Douglas helping him out too. So let's not crown Joe Douglas to be, this great, player personnel guy either.
Yeah, 2012, John. I said Ertz, and that's 13. So
that was Andy.
Right, and that was Andy. That was Andy. Fletcher Cox was Andy.
Which actually was actually a pretty decent draft if you think you're Vinny Curry too.
And Brandon Graham was Andy too, right?
I think Kendricks. Was it Michael Kendricks that year? I think Michael Kendricks and
Google's really annoying here.
Foles in the third round.
All right, I'm going to zoom out again because I can't. It's covering data. No, really. I mean, the Aguilar, Eric Rowe, Jordan Hicks. I mean, we're going, dude. Their last actual good. I mean, Jalen Mills. I guess I give him credit because they got a 7th rounder and turned into something.
He's not that good.
He's still playing. He's a starter in the 7th round.
He ain't that good though.
Dude, seriously, you're going back and John Suggs said it's Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox 2012.
All right,
I mean, Lane Johnson. I mean, all right, I'll give you Zach Ertz, but Lane Johnson. I mean, what? That wasn't an obvious pick at 4. Like, what? Where are you finding the value? Nowhere. They can't draft. A guy XYZ gets cut. Eagles interested. Well, no shit, because you can't draft. You gotta go sign guys to fill spots. They have had literally 1, 2, 3, 4. Which
look at the wide receivers that they've taken.
Jordan
Matthews, Arthega-Whiteside. These guys suck. These wide receivers that they've taken. Freddie Mitchell. They stink. They have no talent with wide receiver. They suck. How are you so bad at drafting a wide receiver?
But this is why they have 3 wins. This is why they have 3 wins. Don't give me this nonsense about Wentz. That's like such a lazy argument. Oh, Wentz looks terrible. What do you want him to do? Which is why when this argument comes up, Dak versus Wentz, I mean, look, Dak has an all-star team around him when they're healthy. And they can't win 9 games. Wentz wins 9 games last year or whatever it was with this group, and this group sucks.
Raya Tai.
This guy's name is Prince Tega. I mean, come on, dude. Why do you draft this guy?
Where is Prince Tega at?
Stud.
Prince. I don't know. I don't think he's the problem. I don't. I think if you start looking there, I think it's misguided. The 2017 draft is why this team sucks right now. Bust. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, God. All right.
So thank you for your contribution to the show this evening, Brian.
Thanks.
I am Equal Opportunity. Catch us tomorrow on Tuesday with Tom on North Bay TD Radio. We got the draft on Wednesday. And first of all, make sure that you like the Unsportsmanlike Conduct show because it's one of my favorite shows. Yes, these 2 people are 2 of my favorite people. So
Thank you. You're the only one that says that, but that's fine. That's
everybody thinks it, but I say what people think. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, Velardi does bring on some of our high-profile guests, so I mean, he's doing a good job.
Velardi is to be blunt, Paul. This is not a shot at you. In the very least, people take it that way. Hess and Velardi are the glue that keeps this whole damn thing together.
I'm a booking agent.
Yeah,
on the side.
And Hess keeps the cigarettes rolling, so that's good. Yeah. I'm kidding.
To be blunt.
I'm not going to crash the show anymore, but I figured since we're show crashing, I figured I'd join the party. So
sounds good. Thank you for coming on, Brian. Thanks for everybody for chiming in this evening. And great show tonight. We'll be back again next Monday here to talk more about NFL, college football, maybe get a little bit in the NBA as well, and we'll see where. Maybe even a little baseball if it's worthy to talk about. So we'll have it all for you next Monday. We'll be entering Thanksgiving week next Monday. Yep. So that's it for tonight. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. Paul Macrie once again, Mike Velardi. See you next week.
Thank you for watching the Sports Box. Follow us on Facebook at Sports Box Show, Twitter at Sports Box Show, Instagram at The Sports Box Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. See you next time.